So, Rebecca, we've reached number 9 in Nancy Klein's components of a thinking environment. And that number 9 is, he says, daring to press a button and hope that it works. And it hasn't done yet. And that number 9 is, there it is, place, a positive physical environment. And without stealing your thunder on this, in Nancy Klein's book, Time to Think, she talks about creating a physical environment that says to people, you matter. Sounds simple, sounds straightforward, but of course it has different contexts. But I'll stop myself from saying what I think and feed off what you've got to say.
Thank you. Yeah, this is quite important, isn't it? Because you've got to feel physically comfortable in a space to be able to talk. I mean, if you're, for example, if you invite somebody in, if it's a personal thing into your house, or if it's a work thing into your office, and they've got to look around and find a chair or move things off a chair, then they really don't feel like very welcome. It can be as simple as that, can't it? Is in terms of, having a chair for somebody to sit on that's clean, offering them a drink and making sure that they feel like they're not interrupting you, that if you've invited them, you need to make sure that they feel safe and welcome when they come. So for me, it can be as simple as that, is making sure that the space is safe and it's comfortable for somebody to feel like they can talk to you.
Sometimes that can be anticipated, sometimes it's arranged, sometimes you can stage a space. And, I think we're talking as much here about a chance meeting in a corridor as a meeting in an office, for instance, that has been arranged. Sometimes, though, it's spontaneous. Sometimes for me, and I've done this, say, I think we're going to need more time for this than I've got right now. So can we do this in an hour's time when I can give you all the time you need rather than feel pushed? So it's not about fobbing people off, but sometimes if you haven't got the space and place for them, it's best to say that.
Definitely. I think that is really important. And I think sometimes that takes a bit of courage to do that, because you don't want to feel like you're being rude, but actually it's probably more rude to continue looking at your watch, looking around, just not being physically present with the person as well. So I do think that's important. And like you say, it's about being physically present with that person, having that time, but also, if you're discussing a personal matter, then you want to be somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted as well. You're not going to have somebody coming knocking on the door or walking past and, potentially hearing something that's quite sensitive. So finding the right place and the right time is key to making somebody feel comfortable enough to start talking and having a conversation where they're not going to get disrupted and lose that train of thought as well.
It's easy to default to meeting someone in an office. It's not always that, I said it earlier. So what I'm thinking is, how many times have I turned up for a prearranged meeting in somebody's workspace? They're sat behind their desk with all their papers and stuff, and you're on the chair in the office or whatever. These days, more and more posh people in particular got a little table and they've got 3 or 4 chairs or more. You can always tell how important someone is by the number of chairs they can fit around their table. So it doesn't take an awful lot to think, okay, let's come out from behind the desk, let's organize this workspace a bit more comfortably for all parties. I'll say again, creating a physical environment that says to people, you matter. It's whatever it takes that says you matter. So a meeting in a corridor, what says you matter is, let's not do this here, let's do this in a more appropriate place. A telephone call that says you matter could be saying, I'd like to have this call in a bit more of a situation in which people aren't hearing what I've got to say. Or something that says basically, let's be able to talk about this in more comfortable terms. You know what I'm trying to say. So it's being alive to what can I say to this person that says you matter in whatever context you're in.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said before, I think just being present with someone makes a massive difference as well. And I think how we arrange a place or a space can be quite important. So I often do walking with my coaching clients, and that alters the dynamic somewhat as well. So if you're having, so you just mentioned about being sat behind a desk, I think sometimes that's really, really formal and can be, it's a physical barrier, isn't it? You know, if you're face to face with each other, I think sometimes it can put a bit of pressure on. And the thing I like about walking with somebody, we're side by side and we're walking together. So that for me can have an impact on the quality of a conversation with somebody as well. It is making sure that they feel comfortable. You know, I can be present with them, but I'm not sort of in the face, I'm not staring at them or anything like that as well.
Absolutely. Cracking. This can get so anecdotal. I remember being in a political context where, I think I've said this in a previous recording, so I try and keep it to as few seconds as possible, where the group leader had the big chair. You all sit around here, I have the big chair. And he sat in the big chair, and the big chair was higher than everyone else's chair. And that's what saying, I'm important. I'm more important than you. I remember also going to the office of a colleague in another site of a large organization, and he was quite short. And he would sit behind his chair for all meetings, and he would pump his chair up. And you can actually see him doing it. He thought he was being subtle, but you'd see his hand down here. And as you would sit beside it, he would go like that. And it's about saying, I've got the high chair, I'm looking down on you. So those are two instances of what not to do, because he was showing you don't matter. That's a show people you don't matter. You so don't matter, I matter more than you. Apparently, the Gestapo headquarters, where's this going, you're thinking to yourself, Gestapo headquarters in Paris had a door handle that was up here, and that was to make people feel small. So that as you walked into, there's a big door. So as you entered the building, you felt small and diminished in significance. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but there's all sorts of ways in which we can make a more welcoming place or recognize we've got an unwelcoming one to undo.
Yeah. And also something as simple as allowing the other person to sit where they want, you know, rather than directing them to a chair, you will sit in that chair. Allowing them to choose which one they want to sit in or where they want to position themselves in the room. That again tells the person that they matter and you care about their comfort, or you care about making sure that they feel safe as well. There's very subtle things that we can do to make a big difference to ensure that somebody feels like they can start talking.
To me, the crux is show the other person you matter. Is what I'm doing here projecting that, or is that not the case? And usually there's more we can do. And what we're doing this for, let's remind ourselves, we're doing this to prepare a context in which people can think more lucidly, more clearly, with more ease, and with more attention. And if they're squinting into the sunlight because you haven't pulled the blinds properly, or something as apparently insignificant as that can get in the way of all those things.
Yeah, it is. It's making all those and making sure that you're right. Just making sure that we're positioned. You know, when I've done instructing before, making sure that we're not positioned so that people are looking straight into the sunshine when they're having to look at us. So it is really subtle, but very, very important, and people will notice it, won't they? So place is something that we have quite a bit of control over, and something that we can do to make a difference.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can be a bit creative. I know you do, and you mentioned them, your walking conversations and your walking coaching. When I was working in a conventional training department, we used to get people from other parts of the organization asked to book our rooms to have either a meeting with somebody outside of their own workplace for fear of constant interruption, or to just do some thinking time on their own. Now, that's quite extreme, to physically leave your own workplace to go to somebody else's. But it demonstrated that was the only way in which they could be in an environment where, if they were with someone else that says, you matter enough to me to take us out of where we know we're going to be interrupted constantly to somewhere else altogether different. It takes a bit of thought sometimes. We don't just have to put up with an unhelpful environment, which is very often where we start from.
Yeah. So yeah, let's all make a difference and make the environment more comfortable for when we're having a conversation with somebody.